For more on Florida's primaries, Finn Gomez joins us now from Hialeah, Florida. He is CBS News' political director. Finn, you're there in Hialeah where Governor DeSantis and Senator Rubio are set to appear. Why are they appearing together there?
Republicans, Marco Rubio, who is the senator incumbent who's running for re-election, and the incumbent Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, are here in Hialeah, Florida, which is just outside of Miami, Florida. They're kicking off a tour of rallies across the state. They're going to 3 stops tomorrow as well. But this one specifically is about focusing on the Latino Hispanic vote that is so important, a very important voting bloc here in the Sunshine State. But both are running unopposed in their primaries, but they do face Democratic competition in the general election with Val Demings, Congresswoman Val Demings, who's facing Marco Rubio in the general election, and also Nikki Fried, the agricultural commissioner in the state, who's running against Charlie Crist in the primary tonight. That whoever comes out the victor in that primary will face Ron DeSantis in the general election.
And what might that general election matchup look like, depending on who wins?
Yeah, and that's the thing, Nicole. If you look at the Democratic primary for governor, you have Nikki Fried, who I mentioned was the agricultural commissioner, and Charlie Crist, the Democratic congressman, former Republican governor, who then became an independent and then now a Democrat. They're facing each other. It has been a pretty close race for most of their campaign leading up until today, Election Day. Charlie Crist, however, has pretty much been leading in most of the polls. There is a recent poll that came out just today, the St. Pete polls, that show Charlie Crist with a double-digit lead over Fried. Crist is running as more of a centrist, moderate Biden Democrat, if you will, while Nikki Fried was someone who was considered the new hope of the Florida Democratic Party and has captured more of the progressive wing in this state. However, Charlie Crist, I spoke to some Florida political experts just before this hit, who say Charlie Crist has this name ID. He's run for statewide offices multiple times, governor, attorney general, and of course Senate, and now again running for governor. So his name ID is so significant that it could be too much of an uphill climb for Fried to overcome that, but we will know who will go on to be the victor and who will face Governor DeSantis.
You mentioned earlier that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis may be making some more stops with Senator Rubio in Florida, but he's also, as you know, been spending a lot of time out of the state stumping for other GOP candidates. Right. What do we know about DeSantis's presidential aspirations?
Well, absolutely. Again, I was speaking to Florida Republicans. They say it's really no secret that DeSantis is eyeing a potential 2024 White House bid. As you mentioned, Nicole, he went to Arizona. He went to Ohio and Pennsylvania recently just to campaign for candidates in those Republican candidates in those battleground states. Of course, Nicole, those 3 states are also battleground states in the 2024 primary calendar. So there could be an underlying reason why he's going to these states. And of course, he's amassed a huge war chest of over about $130 million campaign chest that he hasn't really utilized. So all eyes are on him if he decides to run. He is someone who is seen as a potential leader in the Republican Party. And of course, there is another Florida man that he might have competition with, and that, of course, is former President Donald Trump, who is a Florida resident and who is also potentially eyeing a potential 2024 run as well.
And getting back to Senator Rubio, Florida Congresswoman Val Demings is seeking the Democratic nomination to challenge him for that Senate seat come this fall. Is that a flippable seat?
Democrats certainly hope so. Demings has actually run a formidable campaign. She's raised a ton of money. A lot of that's come from out of state, but she's also been focused on law and order. She has a law enforcement background, and that, if you look at her ads that are running in the state, there's no mention of her being a Democrat, and it's all focused on law and order. So that strategy has actually perhaps made this race somewhat competitive. If you look at some of the recent polls, it shows a tightening race against Marco Rubio. And I was talking to some Republican officials in Washington who believe that because of the potential for this race to be tightened, this general election race to be tightened between Demings and Rubio, they could be spending more money than they perhaps would want to because Rubio was considered such a safe bet. Of course, Nicole, Florida has really become a trended more red than purple as it has been in previous cycles. Really, with 2016 and Trump's win then, it has moved towards the Republican column and has been less of that sort of swing state. So she still has a significant climb to win in the general election, especially when this, with perhaps the Republican trend to more wins in November because of the economy, because of inflation and other national trends and issues that are propelling certain Republican candidates in these midterm races.
And then lastly, you touched on the former president briefly. I mean, what are the political implications of today's races for him, especially given some of the legal challenges he's facing right now?
Yeah, I did speak with a source close to Trump, an advisor close to Trump, just today, who believes that the investigations, and specifically the FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago estate here in Florida, in Palm Beach County, that actually has emboldened him to potentially run and make another bid for the White House in 2024. He is someone who has been raising a lot of money since the FBI searched his property. And to him, he's also been fueled by this. That he's angry, according to the source, because of it. But he's also, again, boosted by the fact that he's received a lot of Republican support for a potential 2024 bid. But again, there are some also, we were talking to some insiders in the Republican Party who have this sort of wait and see approach to see how these investigations play out for former President Donald Trump.
All right, Finn Gomez, thanks so much for joining us from Florida tonight.
Thanks, Nicole.